streaming. All right.
You're listening to Inside Real Estate, your source for all things mortgage and real estate related. The show that brings you all the hottest topics and insights directly from those who know it most. Now sit back and enjoy the show.
Yeah, boys and girls. How's everybody doing? We are Inside Real Estate. My name is Paul Apostolakis. We've got Mr. Salvatore Cusmano, my partner in crime for life partner. You got Brad Weisgerber. We were just talking about it. He was never supposed to be on the show, but he just kept crashing it, so he's just part of the show now.
Kept showing up.
Yeah. So today's actually an interesting show because we've got one of our own, actually. He works with Omega Lending. He is a loan officer. He's a young, good-looking, much better looking than all of us, actually a model. Brendan Austin, the man with two first names. How are you, sir?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
You never trust a guy with two first names.
Yeah. I've got two
Even
last
I'll say
names.
that.
You know that.
I mean, you don't have a middle name either. So
But I've got two last names.
just
So you've got,
weird.
like, I'm like super trustworthy, right?
No.
Okay. So,
A snake oil salesman, as someone said before.
yeah, somebody called me a snake oil. Fuck them. So Brendan, obviously, thanks for being on the show. I wanted to bring you on. I think it'll be interesting for the audience to hear what it's like for someone in the mortgage industry that, you know, is getting into it and, you know, starting off and trying to figure out their way on how to navigate being in the mortgage industry, right? So for you, I mean, so we'll talk about that. We're going to talk a little bit about a few things that are happening in the market. I want to talk about rates and kind of what I see happening in the spring because I think that's going to be important. I think things are kind of like changing comparatively speaking to where it was 6 months ago. So I want the audience kind of hear a little bit about that. But Brendan, as far as you go, give the audience a little bit of the background on how you ended up at Omega Lending with us.
Yeah, so right out of college, started at UWM underwriting.
Let's go back real quick. You were like a star athlete, right? You're an athletic, good-looking dude. Let's talk about the athlete part. You played lacrosse, right?
Okay, yeah, played lacrosse at Grand Valley.
Isn't lacrosse like hockey on
pretty much
on grass, right?
Pretty much
like
hockey on grass.
like
Yeah.
hockey
It's a
junior.
pretty rough sport, though.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I took a lot of heat doing that.
Yeah.
Still feeling it today.
Yeah,
So.
you were a captain.
I was, yeah. For my last 2 years, I was a captain there at Grand Valley. Ended up graduating in 2014 and then got into the mortgage industry right away. Did some underwriting at UWM right out of the gate.
By the way, UWM is United Wholesale
United
Lending.
Wholesale
They're the
Mortgage.
largest wholesale lender in the country right now. Go ahead.
So I was there for about 3 years, did some underwriting there, did some sales there as well, and then actually got out of the industry, did some advertising sales for about a little over a year, and then decided to get back in, started at Quicken Loans. I was working there for a little bit, and then...
Wow, so you went to the Academy.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I did do that. And then...
I'm sure Matt loves that. All right.
And then got
Your
referred
mom
over
works
to-
at UWM. She's actually pretty high up at UWM.
She does, yeah, she does. She's doing a good job over there.
Yeah.
So
How did she feel about you going to Quicken?
she was not happy about that, to say the least. She tried to talk me out of it
Oh,
about
she
a
did?
1,000 times. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But
All right.
You know what?
It was
you
a
know
good
how it
experience,
was.
though. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm super interested.
Yeah.
How the perspective for you. I mean, obviously, your mom works at UWM, but working at both, what are your thoughts on the two? Like, I know there's probably pros and
Totally
cons.
cut off his intro, but go ahead. Yeah, that's a
No,
good
no,
question.
yeah.
I'm
Totally.
just curious.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, as far as the culture and the people there, I feel like it was very similar. Met a lot of good people. Super high energy place, both places. I think UWM was a little bit more of my style, just based on, you know, the work-life balance kind of thing, just kind of the whole smaller company feel. But Quicken Loans was a great place to be for a while I was there. Ended up leaving just because I was referred over to you guys by some mutual friends. So that's kind of where I ended up with Omega Lending, and then rest is history from there.
It's really funny because so Brendan was working with us for a while, and then one day he goes, "Yeah, man, you know, I was at UWM." I was like, "Oh yeah, that's right, you were at UWM." I was like, "How was that experience?" He's like, "Dude, I shadowed you." And I'm like,
Can't believe you don't remember that.
I was like, "What do you
Almost
mean?"
walked out.
I'm like, "What do you mean you shadowed me?" You're like, "Dude, I sat next to you for like a whole day."
Literally.
Yeah, and I didn't remember any of it, like, because I used to get shadowed a lot, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you're like team leader or whatever. What did
Paul's
you
kind of a
wait?
big
Can I ask you like, what did you think of Paul Apostolakis when you were shadowing? Were you like, "God, this guy's a douchebag"?
One
people say
thing,
that.
you never stop talking,
Yeah.
no matter whether it was on the phone or to someone near you. So we didn't get to talk much because I couldn't really get a word or two in.
I was busy, right? Yeah.
You were super busy, but no, you knew your stuff. You were good to shadow. You were a good person to
I
be
like that.
around,
I
and
like
I
that.
remembered that when I started over here with you guys. So
That's good. So I obviously, like, I wasn't a bad experience because he actually came and worked for us. Like, I worry about that because I can go off the handle a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah, like when you first started sitting next to me at UWM, I was like, who's this
douchebag.
Jumanji-looking motherfucker. You know, like,
Thanks,
get
man.
out of here, bro.
Appreciate
But-
it. But now we're best
But
friends.
yeah, 2 days later, it was great.
Yeah.
But
Gotta warm up
So
to 'em.
everybody understands, like, real quick. So I worked at Shore Mortgage, which got shut down basically by Matt because he wanted to focus on the wholesale side. So I had a choice where to go, and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to become an AE because I got to understand the business. First team I went on was absolutely amazing, but first person I sat next to was Sal. That's how we got to know each other. And when I walked up, I'm like, who's this Italian-looking fucking dude?
The chest lettuce.
We were very competitive. Like we were very similar people, and all of a sudden, like 2 days later, we're like telling you like what if like scenarios and having
yeah,
a great
pretty
time.
funny stuff.
So, anyways, going back to you, Brendan. So you obviously you've been in a lot of parts of the business. You know, UWM gave you a lot of experience as far as seeing different parts of the business. You went to retail at Quicken. What made you decide to kind of dip your foot into like becoming an actual loan officer? Because it's tough.
Oh, it's absolutely tough. I think the biggest thing was I wanted to kind of control my own destiny. So rather than working for the man, I kind of have the ability to go out and chase my own business, to create my own relationships, rather than working off the leads that hit my desk. You know what I mean? So that's kind of the thing I like. I think the athletic part of my background and the competitiveness, kind of this gives me like the freedom to kind of make the amount of money and the amount of relationships, and like there's no cap to any of that in this side of the business, what we're doing now. So I think that was the biggest thing for me, is just being able to come to this side and just kind of like create my own brand and create my own destiny, and do it the way I want to do it, find out what works for me.
Yeah, it's interesting, Sal, about Brendan. Sometimes he seems mild-mannered, but you can tell that inside there's like a fire burning. You know what I mean? Like when something doesn't go his way, like he looks like a little pouty little girl. You know what I mean? Yeah. And like I'll walk over. I'm like, you all right? He's like, I'm like,
Well, it's easy to get frazzled, you
Yeah.
know, when the leads aren't given to you.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Like when you work so hard for something and then it ends up not working out, or they work with someone else, it does suck. And I think that the whole experience that you've had has helped you, though. And I think that's a really good background for people who are thinking about going out on their own. It's like, well, how you've done relationship sales essentially your whole career if you've been at UWM and nowhere else in the business, right? Business to business sales. And then at Quicken, you've learned to talk to the consumer in a different manner, right? But there's no like referrals, and that's the hard thing to build up from a relationship to get those referrals.
Yeah, it's interesting because I'll be honest with you, just the audience understands. Nothing against Quicken. I was there for many years and I did leads, and that's what I did for a good part of my career. And I think I was pretty good at it. But the reality is that does not translate into our relationship-based business. It's very, very, very different, and not very different. But not many people understand that just because they were a good loan officer at Quicken Loans and they did a lot of volume, it doesn't mean you're going to be a great LO on the streets making relationships with referral partners. I personally normally wouldn't have hired you had you been coming straight from Quicken, but because you had the background that you had, I felt like it was a good fit. Plus, your mom made me hire you. So
not true.
No, not true at all. But here's the reality, right? And even as talented as you are, as competitive as you are, as good of a background as you have in the business, it's still a struggle, and that's kind of something I want to talk about, because I want the audience to understand that if you're in retail or you're in some other part of the business and you want to all of a sudden become a loan officer without any leads, that's a tough prospect, right? So talk to the audience about like your mentality right now and like what you're doing to try to increase, like build your network, because you see what we're doing, and we're a lot of times because we just started the business, we're very, very busy. We can't give you all the support that we want. But right now, what are you doing, and what are the challenges that you're seeing in your quest to become great at what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So
Talking
last
to the mic, dude.
4 or 5 months, it's really just been making contacts has been the number one thing, whether it's an email, a text, a call, hitting somebody up on LinkedIn or whatever, just trying to get your name out there, get meetings with real estate agents and kind of getting your name out there. Because when I started with you guys, obviously, at ground zero, your paycheck is zero until you go out and you chase your own business. So
right. We're not giving you a salary.
Right. You don't get salary, you don't get leads. You kind of just have to figure it out on your own, which is kind of the part that I found the most interesting about it. Just kind of figuring out what works for me and how to build my relationship base with all of my real estate agents that I'm reaching out to. So that is...
So when you meet with an agent, let's say, right? And a lot of people are like, "Well, what's your pitch? And what do you like? What's your like thing?" And we talk about this because we have our own personality about it. But when you meet with someone, what is your goal in that meeting?
To be human is mostly my goal. Coming from like the Quicken Loan side, and even on when I was doing advertising, I was doing more so like here's the script, like hard sell the person on the first call, and that's just not how it goes in this game. So what I've been trying to work on doing is getting the meeting and kind of differentiating myself from the rest of the loan officers out there, whether it's I'm not going to hard sell them on closing fast or whatever every other loan officer is going to tell them. It's more so just being human, because ultimately people are going to work with people that they like. So I don't like to just dive right into business. I like to talk about their family. I like to talk about, get to know them and get to figure out what is really important to that person. And I think that kind of lowers the guard. So eventually you can start talking about business, and then I think it goes from there. So that's kind of like my plan right now.
Yeah, I mean, you know, how we built our business is kind of the same way, right? Just going out there, selling ourselves essentially as who we are and whatnot. But no one really knows until you do a deal or two.
Yep.
You know, and you start dancing. It's like dating, right? This whole the analogy is the best analogy, I think, is like, you know, being a broker, you know, mortgage broker or LO at a mortgage broker. You essentially, without leads, have to figure out how to date tons of people and juggle those relationships. It's like being a gigolo.
Yeah.
Like you got to go out there and you got to find like all these different.
But in the best way possible. It's not like a dirty thing. Like you.
No.
Really
You want to
relationships.
take care of everyone. You know.
But it is like dating a lot of different people, because you have to. The relationships take upkeep, right? It doesn't just happen, right?
Well, you have to put the effort in. You have to put the respect in.
Yeah.
And
Right?
I think that's what
To get it back.
Going back to what you said about, you know, if something goes wrong, you look over at him and he looks like just distraught, right?
Because he
Or a
cares.
crying little girl or whatever you
Yeah.
said.
Oh,
But
I
it's-
didn't say
it's-
that, but okay.
It's because I think you did, but it's because when you go from the lead side, where it's the human part is taken out, right?
numbers,
you have a
yeah.
script,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
you're just hard selling. There's no emotion behind it. But
Yeah.
when you're putting yourself out there with, I mean, you have no lifeline, you have nothing to fall back on. It's you, and you're working your ass off to get this business and build these relationships. When something goes wrong, you take it to heart,
Yeah,
right? Because
'cause
that's
yeah.
you.
Because that's a
100%.
relationship
Yeah.
that you're hurting, right?
Yeah. So it makes sense.
One thing I tell a lot of people that start getting into this business that might have been in leads or like don't understand like the difference. This is what I say. I go, the lead game is very scientific. There's a script, there's a process. You go through your cadence. You make 100 calls. Like there's a very specific formula on how to like succeed. And even if you're not super talented, if you put in the work, you will make money in that part of it, right? The difference is that's scientific, whereas the relationship business side, where we do, is way more artistic. There's no formula, right? There's no magic like, oh, like I'm going to offer this agent this, and they're going to do business with me. Well, it doesn't matter what you're offering if you don't like each other, it's not going to work, right? So that's the difference.
It's relationship.
It's relationship.
You know?
It's
Sometimes
very-
you chase the girl, and you put in all the effort, and she just blows you off.
Yep.
You know, and you're like, man, I'd be so good for
But then a
you.
year later,
You know, but
but
it doesn't work.
But a year
And
later, she
that's
calls
okay.
you and she says, "Bill Thomas wasn't that great, and I want you now, Sal."
True. Or you say, you know, like
I don't know
she
who Bill
gets,
Thomas is.
Oh, yeah. Hope
Well-
there's no Bill Thomas listening.
or you look down the road and they're in the dumps, and you're like, hey,
Hey, let me pick
Could
you
have
up.
had me.
Yeah.
and you're doing well. And it's like, you want to work now?
But
Right.
another
No,
thing
yeah.
that
See,
we have to be very aware too in this business that everybody we talk to is already dating someone else, right?
Yes.
And they probably have a good relationship with them. So
We're
it's,
the mistress.
yeah, right. You're the mistress for a little while until they want to start making you the number one. You're down the ride.
So bad.
Yeah, it's true though. But like but you can't be offended when somebody works with someone else, right?
You have to respect it.
You have to respect it. They
Right,
already
and you have
built
to
that
respect
relation.
that relationship
Yeah.
too. You can't just come in there with donuts in the office while the other person's in there.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah.
You know, and
Nobody
it's kind
cares.
of it's a balance, and I think that, you know, just doing what you know you're good at and following up and being responsive will do more than anything else. More
But
than
it's
the
tough.
co-marketing and things like
Yeah.
that. It's like, hey, you have to prove yourself as a worthy mate
Yeah.
for them to want to be with you. For
Yeah.
sure, you know.
And Brandon, I mean, obviously, like it's not easy because you don't have a book of business, right? You came in here and you're like, I want to do this. And then one thing that, by the way, guys, I don't know if you guys ever heard Brendan say this. One time I said, listen, Brendan, I want to start giving you like some agents that maybe like we've worked with in the past, and you know that I haven't been able to like really cultivate the relationship with. And he's like, he looked at me, and he goes, dude, that's cool, man, but he's like, I want to create my own network. I want to create my own. He's like, and for the company, think about it. If you guys have your network and I can create mine, how much better would that be for the company? And I
No,
was
you
like,
never told me that.
I was blown away that he
That's
said
awesome.
that. He was like, I want to do this on my own. And that is so commendable because most people want a handout, right?
Right, yeah.
Most
Yeah.
people come in and they're like, dude, what can you give me? And I'm like, dude, I can't give you anything. that you can't do for yourself, right? Even if I gave you the agents that we potentially talked with in the past, or I work with, or whatever it is, it doesn't work because that's my relationship anyways.
Exactly.
Right?
I respect the shit out of that. 'Cause
It's awesome.
You can see through. You can see the reward of your own work, right? And
Yeah.
you know that struggle is going to pay off, and you respect that, and I respect that.
By the way, those watching live, if you guys have a question for Mr. Brennan, I do have you up on my screen. And thanks for Keith Stonehouse. He said we've got great info. I appreciate that. But if you guys have any questions, obviously just shoot it over on the screen. It's not like Brendan has a lot to say.
So going back to Brendan's background, I feel like
Kyle just sent me a message.
You did?
He says, that guy looks really familiar. Does he model or something?
I thought that's what I was getting to. So I feel like we skipped over a big part of your background. 'Cause
Oh, boy.
You talked about lacrosse in college. You talked about UWM. You talked about Quicken. You talked about some other garbage sales that you did. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah.
But you missed something.
Yeah. Can I bring that up real quick?
I mean, yeah.
So we're
doing
in the office, and it was early when he had just started, and he goes, "Hey man, I got an appointment on Friday," and I'm like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "You just started, bro. Like you can't. Like you need to be like all over it." He's like, "Yeah, but it pays." And I'm like, "What is it?" He's like, "You're gonna laugh at me." And I was like,
didn't say it like that.
"I know you did." But I go, you said something else. I can't even repeat it because you said you're gonna think I'm an ex, right? And I go, "What is it, dude?" He was like, Bob Evans has a casting call, and I'm a model, and I've got a casting agency, and I'm going to go try out for this commercial for Bob Evans. I go, what? Well, I'm like, what? He goes, like, dude, it pays like $500 or whatever. What was it?
Yeah, it was $1,000.
It was $1,000. I'm like, oh, yeah, go do it, dude. But you didn't get it.
That's not true either.
Oh.
Remember, there was a second call in Chicago for 3 days, and I had to pay for travel and
this
stay.
is the stupidest
so.
thing. Yeah, he had to go to Chicago. They're going to pay him $1,000, which wouldn't even cover his expenses.
It's going to cost them $3,000.
And what were you doing in this commercial? You were like a dad?
I was a dad, yeah. I was cooking some dinner for my kids and my wife.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
Is his wife hot?
I would have killed it. What?
Is your wife? Was the not? You're by the way.
I don't know who it was.
Oh.
So yeah, I would have known.
So Brendan's
eventually.
getting. By the way, everybody, also Brendan's getting married, and he looks at a lot of marriage magazines. He's got like doing tastings for cake. It's really affecting his business, and I need to tell his wife if she's listening that please back off. He doesn't really care. It's going to be your choice anyway. So just pick it. Just pick whatever.
Random
you're gonna
question:
pick. Yeah.
Did you and your wife ever go do the cake tasting and everything like that?
Yeah.
So we never did, but we talk about it all the time, going and pretending like we just got engaged just to try the delicious cake.
That's really scandalous.
But I love
Kind
cake.
of sweet, dude.
Yeah.
I mean,
hell yeah.
I'm gonna
Just
do it
pretend-
one day.
just pretend
I'm
you're
gonna
getting
do it
married.
one day. But
I don't
any
have
real
the
estate
patience
agents
for that. I feel like when I get married, I don't give a
shit about the cake.
Pick
Yeah.
the cake.
Yeah,
I'll
that's
eat
what
it.
I'm saying.
No.
Smash
Because
it in your
me for
face.
saying
I
that.
tried that, but it's like I want you to be involved. But then
Yeah.
when you are involved, you're like, well, I like
Well, it's
this.
like, do you like the blue shirt or the black shirt? Right?
I like the
You're going
black
out
shirt.
tonight. I don't give a.
Yeah.
I don't care.
No,
They
but
both look
Wear
good.
the
I'll
one
wear
you
either
like.
one.
They both look great.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Well,
matter.
We
And
just
then
did a
they put
whole-
the other
we
one
did a
on. You
left
say, you know
turn.
what? I like the other one more. And then they're like, well, why didn't you say that?
Exactly.
No,
It's a
dude.
game, dude.
I always get this. Would you like this or that? And I go, I like that one. She goes, no, I like the other one. I'm wearing it. And my decision
Doesn't even matter
doesn't
then.
even matter.
Right.
Right, Jessica? That's how you guys are, right?
That's exactly how that works.
Yeah. Yeah. I just want to know what you like, so I do
Well,
the
it's,
opposite.
they either want the positive or the negative reinforcement.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
Yeah, they need
all
one
right.
of them.
But going back to the modeling
Keith
thing,
Stonehouse says my wife does cake tastings every day.
Man.
she's got a glorious life.
man!
Any agents out there listening that want to do some advertising and need a model for to stand in front of a house?
Yeah.
I think
Got
our
you
boys
covered.
available.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, Brendan. So you're really trudging along. I think you've done a really good job creating meetings, and you've got some good things going. But it's still tough, right? Like you're closing some loans, and you're scrapping, right? Like,
Yeah.
It is so scrappy what you're doing. And I like watching it because you're really trying to get your name out there. It's difficult though, like because your sphere yet they don't really know that you're the person to go to for mortgages yet. They're starting to hear that. So what are you doing to like set yourself apart or try to build your brand within even your own like personal sphere of influence?
Honestly, just getting my face in front of people constantly.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to be one time. It's not going to be 2 times. It's not going to be 3 times. It takes reps. It takes months and months of work, showing yourself. And also, once you get that one opportunity, which is where I was the first couple months, getting my first shot with some of these agents, like, I want to make sure that that's the best experience possible, because if it's not, then there's a good chance that that's going to be the last time that
Yeah,
I
you
work
only
with
have
them.
one shot
Right.
at that point.
It's
Right?
like a bad date.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Bad first date. You go out and you
Yeah.
throw up on your shirt while you're sitting there at the table. I mean,
Jesus
yeah, it's going to be done, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So
Maybe.
So when I first started with you guys, that's why I was super hands-on, trying to get you guys to get me as much help as possible, making sure this has no hiccups at all. just because that could be my one shot with an agent that I was lucky enough to get even a meeting with. Because obviously there's so many lenders out there, so many real estate agents that are busy, and if obviously getting a meeting, getting a coffee is not the easiest thing in the world with some of these guys. They won't respond to you, whether you hit them up on LinkedIn, call them, text them, whatever.
Because they're getting called. By the way, guys, so everybody understands. I was talking to another real estate agent. He's like, dude, you do not understand how many, because all of a sudden now refinances are gone, and everybody in the loan business wants to talk to a real estate agent. Right. They're really popular, right? Yeah. So they're like, he's like, you don't understand how many people come through my office. He's like, I got to figure out a way to like get rid of them. He's like, I don't need them to drop off donuts, and I don't need coffee, but he's like, they keep doing it, and like, he's like, I understand it, and I appreciate it, and I respect it. At the same time, they don't really offer anything different. They're just coming in, dropping off donuts, and that's not going to work. Sal and I always talked about this. We never wanted to be the donut guys. Yeah. We never wanted. So talk to the audience about the things that you do talk to your agents about. How do you add value? How does Omega add value to them? Like, what do you say to them to say, you know, because by the way, so everybody understands, real estate agents and everybody, closing a loan quickly nowadays, it doesn't matter.
Right.
It doesn't matter. Communicating at a high level, it's not a sales pitch. You should do that no matter what. And if you don't have a loan officer that does that you're partnered with, you're probably not a great agent. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So what are you doing to like set yourself apart, and what do you like? What is your whole conversation like?
So a big part of this is what I learned from you guys. So I first started off with like being super real, being like, listen, I'm not gonna sugarcoat this and be the same guy that you talk to every other day who's gonna be like, I'm gonna close your loan super fast. I'm gonna have the best communication ever.
Yeah,
like,
we do that.
Everybody freaking says that. You know what I mean? So
you don't have to say freaking. You say fuck.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. So I say I'm not going to be the guy who's going to walk in here and tell you that, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out ways to add value to your business and help your business grow, and then eventually, hopefully, we can grow together, whether it's we co-market together, we got a podcast, we can get you on here if that's something you want to do to build your business. It's all about if they see that I'm here to help them build their business too, rather than me be here just to sell them on why they should give me referrals, then I think that lowers their guard and has them feeling like there is value in the relationship with him and I or her and I, as opposed to them just being like, oh, well, I guess he can close the loan fast and he'll answer his phone, so like I'll send him a loan this week. You know
especially
what I mean?
now,
like,
everyone's closing loans.
Exactly.
Underwriters
except
are
for Bank of
feeding for
America.
loans.
Yeah. Well, listen, Sal. I mean, like for us, we talked about this a lot, and like, you know, it was like, how do we add value to people, right? And how do we continue to do that? And it was tough to figure, and we still talk about it. It's like, how do we keep adding value?
Yeah, and I think that for the most part, being a good LO and a good partner is the intangible value of being able to convert someone by the synergy you create with that agent, right? Being able to.
We got to talk about that because,
you know,
you said that word and just triggered Paul.
Yeah, I got triggered.
Synergy.
Right, but most people don't understand that, and it's not for everyone, right? Like, there's definitely some agents I talk to are like, whatever, dude.
I don't care.
You know,
pay me $2 a month.
You know, I gave them, you know, 6 cards of LOs, and they're going to choose whoever has the lowest rate.
Yeah.
Probably not my guy.
They don't value
right?
that.
Yeah. And probably not my client if that's all they care about. So ultimately, putting all that together and having someone, you know, an agent that can trust you to activate that client to write an offer. Because the biggest thing that probably prevents someone from writing an offer on a house is the unknown, right? So the more they can know up front, the more info you can get from that agent, like, hey, are concessions possible on this? Is this, will they take an FHA offer? Will they do this? When do they need to close? Blah, blah, blah. You figure out that info from the agent and translate it into the whole picture for this buyer before they even write. They feel comfortable. They're like, all right, I'm actually able.
You're converting buyers for the agent.
I feel comfortable pulling the trigger on this house on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Versus, well, let me talk to my bank. Well, Monday's President's Day. We talk to him. Sorry. Offer came in, it's off the market.
I'm going to say something directly to real estate agents, and I'm saying this in the nicest way possible. If you aren't working with someone that actually helps your business grow and actually creates a situation where clients are activated and they actually convert at a high level. One of the reasons Sal and I have been able to have success, all the other things aside, right? Value, fast, we communicate, we answer our phones. We have been able to take agents and increase their business by being a good partner, by converting buyers, by
adding value,
making people feel comfortable. When we work with an agent, it's a team. Like, that's my guy. Like, they're going to treat you really well. And obviously, we have to believe in them. But Sal, we've taken so many agents that and I don't want to like brag about it, but like we have added income to our agents just by the good work that we do.
Well, and I think that people fail to realize, well, agents, loan officers alike, but it's not all about more leads. It's about converting what you have.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's the biggest thing. Like, how many times has a real estate agent been like, well, whatever, they went somewhere else, or they're not ready to buy, or we can't get them pre-approved, versus, all right, let's figure this out. Let's put them on a game plan. Let's make it happen. And eventually, without spending any extra money or anything else, you're converting deals and closing them versus having someone maybe go talk to their friend at Quicken who refers them to another loan or realtor or whatever, right? So,
and how many times have we done a deal for a client that we got from a real estate agent, and they refer their cousin directly to us because they're like, hey, these guys did a really good job on the mortgage side. Then we turn around and give that back to our agent.
Right.
yeah, I mean, it's a relationship, right? And making sure that everyone feels on board.
So that's my message to real estate agents. Like, don't just look at the mortgage professional as just somebody that's just there to serve a purpose. They have to be part of your team, and I think the best agents look at it that way.
Yeah, well, and I think for a loan officer, after you start to get the business, the second key is keeping an even keel, right? Never getting too flustered. Like, this is the mortgage and real estate business, right? It's while it's hectic and it's crazy and things go wrong, right? It's not like we're doing open heart surgery on someone. Right, it's not. No one's gonna die, right?
I was waiting for it.
There it is.
But honestly, it's very
No one's gonna
important
be
to
that-
think
no one's
like
gonna
that because it's like, all right, so this is a problem, right? You address it with the agent, explain it, but it's all good.
Yeah.
Here's my solve.
Yeah.
So we're gonna close.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, what does that mean? Well, it means we close instead of this Friday. We close next Thursday.
Yeah.
Is everyone on board for that? Let me talk. Right? You get. That's fine. And we
think-
close Thursday, and no one cared. No one died.
Right.
I think that's key. I mean, think about any relationship, not even yours, but just
Any relationship.
Any relationship. It's all good when it's all good and there's no
Well,
issues.
people can sense
But
fear in
real,
your voice too.
Yeah, real relationships are built on
Trust.
conflict, on problems. When something
Well,
goes wrong
yeah.
and you're able to work through that relationship is strong, right?
Yeah.
When everything goes right,
Yeah.
that relationship
And
means
sometimes
nothing.
it's a problem from the start.
Right.
You'll get a
Yeah.
call. Hey, this guy's gonna call you. Heads up.
Right.
Messy. It's
Right.
the guy's crazy. You get that all figured out up front, and they trust you to do that. Usually, the rest of the transaction's very smooth.
The
Yeah.
best
Right, for sure.
relationships on the have conflict, have some type of situation that you have to get over, and when you go through war with someone,
war and death again.
You know what I mean? But if you go through war with someone, you come out on the other side. Even though we're saying war, but like any situation, you come out on the other side. Now you're kindred spirits. You just went through something. You had an experience that you both worked through, and if you can find a way to
was tough.
navigate, that was tough. And if you find a way to navigate through it, and you get to the other side, you both look at each other like, man, we just made that.
did it.
Yeah, we did it. So that's a big deal, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so easy to just have things go well and whatever. You're killing it for me. You close 20 deals with someone that were all lay down deals, and then have one tough one that you don't know how to handle when something goes sideways, and they'll
Yeah.
never work with you again,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Because
it happens.
of the way you handled it.
So, Brendan, what's your plan now? Like right now, like I know and it's good because you're always on the phone. You've been creating contacts up in Grand Rapids, a lot of contacts up there, and I think they need to start seeing the value of using someone because Grand Rapids is like a bubble. If you're not from Grand Rapids, you don't get in there.
Yeah.
But you've been up there a few times. So, like in your mind right now, what is your strategy? Because obviously you're just doing a lot of the right things, but like what are you thinking right now? What are you doing today to like move the needle?
I think honestly that now that I've become way more comfortable with how our process works, how to talk to real estate agents, how to really be a loan officer. The first couple months I was like, what the hell am I doing? So now like I got an idea on like what needs to be done in order to get a deal closed, who to go to if we need help, stuff like that. How to make sure a real estate agent is in the loop and all the deals that we got going. So I know the game now. So now I think my plan is to obviously cultivate the relationships I have, but also take that confidence and create new relationships with maybe some higher producing real estate agents.
Because you have the chops now.
Right.
You feel like you can handle that.
So now I
right?
got some base under me where I can talk to them confidently. I can answer questions they have without feeling like I don't know the answer. So now I'm ready to take, which is kind of where I'm at right now, being about like 5 months in, is ready to kind of take my game to the next level, increase my network significantly and increase my production. I think that'll come with increasing my network, which is kind of why I'm expanding out to Grand Rapids. I don't think if we can write loans in Michigan, I don't think there's a cap on anywhere in the state that we can't go and we can't get business
Go
from.
to
So
UP.
Yeah, I'm gonna start doing some business expenses up to the UP.
No, dude, just because you're from Menominee,
Yeah.
Well,
you know,
it's an untapped market for
And
us.
that's a good point.
$20,000 mortgages.
When we were all worked at Quicken Loans. Is
Oh,
my mic up?
oh,
there we go.
There you go.
There he is.
We all worked at Quicken Loans. We were writing loans in California, right?
Right,
So
yeah.
why wouldn't you be able to write one in Grand Rapids?
exactly. That's what
Right.
my mindset is on that.
We have
so,
all the same technology,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
So
Rocky Lund says you're lucky you have a grade A. Rocky,
Yeah.
you're lucky you have us.
man,
So
we have an AE at UWM.
oh, we have CRs now. They're going to take over.
oh man.
Lost in the chat.
Yeah,
I
do
do
rock
love
like
Rocky
that.
though.
Yeah, Rocky's the best.
he's the man.
We're messing
Yeah.
around. So yeah, man. So obviously, the one thing I will tell you that from outside looking in,
Smashed him.
yeah, smash. Your work ethic is going to put you in a position to get, like I will tell you, you are working. You are
Yes.
doing the right things. You are making the calls. The biggest thing for you right now, in my opinion, is getting the meetings and getting people to understand who you are and translating that to being able to build their business better. And I think anybody out there that's a real estate agent needs to like understand that like some people are worth taking the call from. Some people are worth spending 15 minutes and having a coffee with them and just understanding. And if nothing else, and this is what I understand about agents: is if there's good people in the business, meet with them. You don't have to work with them today.
Right.
There's so many people I meet with on a weekly basis that I know we're not going to work together right now. There's people that call me that want to work with me, and I'm like, it's not happening right now. But they're on the sidelines. I know who they are. I like them. Eventually, if I need something, they're over there. So if it's all about the network. Right? It's how big can you get your network? If you have 150 people that are all in the business that you all like each other, at some point, some of you are going to work together. So if I'm a real estate agent, I would do that, right?
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think like with that network, right? Like you have to think about it in different ways too, though, right? You don't want to have a whole bunch of people you talk to and not go deep enough with them.
You don't
right?
want to be the town bicycle
What?
with the relationship we're talking about.
Well, no, you don't want to be the guy
What?
who just does a lot of work to meet people and build like a very not impressive or not deep
Right.
relationship with them, and then no one sends you business, right?
If
Maybe
it's
you
not
get onesies,
superficial, yeah,
twosies,
you got to.
but you need to go deep, right? And if
Mhm.
you can't, you need to build a team around it, right? If you have too many people that you can't touch, you need to build a team, hire people, do whatever you need to do to make sure that everyone has acute attention.
acute attention because you do have to get to know people on a deeper level. Yeah. Did you get a haircut?
I got them all cut.
That's a bad joke. Man. It's such a
I mean,
bad
it's a
joke.
dad joke, and I'm a dad. What do you want?
Yeah. So, Brendan, I mean, obviously, I mean, you're fighting through. You're doing what you got to do in the business. What would you say is like your goal for 2019?
Ooh, I like that.
To double my production over the span of a month. I don't think that's going to be that hard, but say if I do 3 loans, I want to do 6 the next month. 6 month, I want to do 12. Obviously, it's not going to work that quickly, but that's my goal is to look at what I did this month. Let's try and double that. So I think if that compounds even at a little bit slower rate than that throughout the course of this year, I think I'll be in pretty good shape.
Can I give you advice on that?
Yeah.
So a lot of people in our industry, no matter who it is, look at the results and that's their goal, right? It's difficult when you look at the results to make that your goal. The one thing I'll tell people in this business is what your, in my opinion, and everybody's got a different way of thinking about it, your goal should be the steps that it takes to actually accomplish those goals, right? Like, I need to have 50 meetings this next month to be able to do that, right? So you got to like.
I don't think
I
it's bad to
disagree.
have an end goal.
No, you got to have
Yeah.
that, but work it backwards.
but you have to have a method to getting there,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Exactly.
So,
So-
work it backwards.
It's the whole thing about writing out your goals, right? The big goal is to double your production month over month.
Yes.
But to Paul's point, you can't just leave it at that.
What
you
are
have
the
to
steps?
break that
Well, I
down
think
and
you
have
need-
micro goals to get there.
for me, every day, it's like, what am I lacking?
Right.
Right? Like, yeah, I've got loans, but
Compassion.
what am I? Yeah, probably. But what am I lacking?
Soul.
And typically, that's pre-approvals, right? When I'm like, what's going on? Like, things are great, but I'm focusing on my deals and not talking to people, right?
Yeah.
Or I'm slow, or it feels slow, and why? Because 30 days ago, I wasn't thinking about how to get more pre-approvals, and for
Yep.
our position, right? Like that's the gold, and I got a lot of shit for that. in the past always.
Yeah, you did.
What do what are you doing? I'm
Pre-approvals.
stacking
What is that?
pre-approvals.
Bullshit. That's what everything means in a business.
Yeah, no, they're.
I mean,
What do you mean?
Everything.
I go stacking pre-approvals and got some.
What do you
heat for it.
mean? Pre-approvals?
All right, let's move on.
Man?
But for you, I would like just for me, it would be like your goal right now should be as many meetings as possible.
Yeah, for
that's
sure.
it. Just meet as many people as possible, network yourself, get your name out there. Because, dude, unless people know who you are, if you talk to someone, say, hey, do you know anybody else that that I could talk to? Right. That's the biggest thing. Is it's the network. It's how do you get your tentacles everywhere?
Right.
Right.
And
So
I think the point of the number is, say you close 6 and then the next month you close 12. I think my perspective would be to look at the 12 and be like, wow, like what did I do this month to get double my production?
Yeah.
So I think I use the number to say like, wow, I'm doing something right this month. Like, what is it? Let's keep doing it.
But
If I do 6 and go down to 3, like what am I missing this month? What I do last month that I didn't do this month?
So to Sal's point, though, I think you got to get this in your head a little deeper because you just said, "What did I do this month?"
Right.
Right.
I was just gonna say that.
To get 6 or 12 in a month.
It's not what you did that
It's
month.
not what
dude.
you did that month.
It's what you did 3
What
months
did
ago.
I do 3 months ago?
Yeah.
What did I do 2 months ago?
That's how our business
You got to
works.
keep pushing that because the work you do today isn't for this month.
Mhm.
The work you do today is for June, July.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's
I think the
fantastic.
goal is consistency with adding a little bit, right? So
Yeah.
if you did 3 this month, can I do 4 next month? Can I do 5 the following? Can I do 6 or 7? And maybe you do 12.
You said, dude.
But
My God,
but
I hate you so
the
much.
consistency is key, right? Because a lot of people will be like,
Stop laughing, Jesse.
blow out a month and do 10 or whatever, and then the next month they'll do 2,
Yep.
right? And then they'll do 8, and then they'll do 2, and it's a constant battle, especially when you're all commissioned and go to Somerset and go blow it on some
The Iceman.
shoes or whatever, right?
Yep.
And then the
Cars.
next month you close
Cars.
2
Rolexes.
and
Yeah.
you start freaking out, right? So that
Great
constant flow, even if it's less to less each month, because you focus on the right things and not going out and chasing low hanging fruit like refis and whatnot. That's how you build a consistent network.
Yeah.
For sure.
And we see it within our business, people going up and down and struggling hard when they focus on those refis.
Yeah, dude. I mean, 100%. Let me ask you this. Obviously you were at Quicken. You could have stayed there. It's a retail shop. You made a conscious decision to go to the broker world and obviously work with us. We're a broker, banker, hybrid. We can do both, right? But why, in your mind, was that the place to be as opposed to like a Bank of America or a Chase or a Quicken or a Flagstar, whatever it
Yeah.
may be, right?
I think it's the personalization and the options we have. I mean, it's the fact that we can talk to the consumers and not have to go by a script or not have to hard sell them or not have to have someone over your back telling you what to say. Like we can talk to them like a human being, figure out what's important to them, and then give them the best options available for that specific person. Obviously, when we were at Quicken Loans, you offer Quicken Loans products.
Yeah.
With us, we got a bunch of different lenders. We can shop. We can figure out what fits best for that person. So I think that is super valuable for a home buyer because we can make sure that we're looking for the client's best interest, and then
Yeah,
they can know that, and we can tell them that we're going to do that in the way that we do without having to say what someone else is telling us to say. So
That's interesting.
yeah,
So you didn't want to be a puppet.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
That's pretty much
Yeah,
the
you're totally-
what I was getting at there.
But there is some safety, people. Just so people understand, there's a lot. It's a lot safer to be a puppet or be part of
Right,
a big
yeah, it
company
is.
because you might not make as much. And you got to work harder, and you got someone over your shoulder, but it's given to you a little bit, right? You've got the leads, you've got the support, you've got people over telling you what to do. Some people need that too, by the way. Some people need someone to tell them what to do, when to do it. It's a difficult prospect to not have like Salvatore Cusmano saying, "Hey man, what time are you going to get in today? What are you going to do today? What like show me your this, show me that." Like we don't really do that. We're not like micromanaging. It's up to you, dude. We'll give you support, but ultimately, I can't want you to be successful more than you want to be successful,
Right.
Yep.
right? Because our business is not built that way. It's all autonomous. You are your own business owner,
Yep.
right? And the pay is better if you get it going,
For sure.
right? Yeah. So, what else? What?
I was going to say something really random.
So listen, one thing I did want to get into real quick is the rate environment right now going into the spring, and this is Brendan. Obviously, thanks for your feedback on everything, but obviously I want part of this conversation. There is something happening right now with the interest rate market. Interest rates are super low, right? And something that I saw that was interesting yesterday, that going into the spring market, I was looking at numbers in Metro Detroit. Inventory is 7% lower than it was last year. 7% lower. Days on market is only about 2 days higher, so I think there's something there. The official average ask price is like down like $2,000 or something like that. But what's weird to me is that inventory is even lower than it was a year ago and 2 years ago, and like it was crazy market. Like it was multiple offers, appraisal guarantees. Now it's much healthier. The buyer's a little bit more in the driver's seat. There are contingent offers being accepted, sellers concessions. It just seems like it's a much more healthy market on the buy side. But it's interesting to me that inventory is actually down. Is that weird? Wouldn't you think it would be opposite?
Not really, because it is wintertime, right? So, I mean,
But it's year over year, bro. It's not. We're not talking. It's like January to January.
right. But I mean, with how hot the market was in the summer, there was a lot of home sales in the summer. Things got to cool off.
Things takes time.
Yeah.
Right. Like we understand that because we do this every day, right?
Right.
But a seller who's sitting in his house right now, who's not listening to this podcast, doesn't know that his house value is kind of flat or going down, right? And I don't think
We're
we're
still
going to see a
seeing
significant
appreciation.
decrease.
We're still seeing appreciation.
Well, I'm just saying, from where we were last
Yeah,
year,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Those people are on the fence. Will probably this spring, I think inventory will go up a little bit, but who knows, right? And what are we going to do about it?
No,
right?
I know that.
Yeah.
I know that. But the technical.
die, bro?
I personally think we're okay. So just to give people an example, we're having one of our best months ever in our business, and it's probably because of a lot of things that we're doing. But at the same time, there's a lot of activity. There's a lot of people looking for houses. There's a lot of people buying houses. There's offers being accepted, and I think, me personally, this is what I think. I think because even though inventory is down. Did you fart? What did you do?
No, I think it's your breath.
No, fuck you. So the one thing I'll tell you, one thing I will tell you is I do think it's a healthier market on the buy side, so more people are able to actually buy houses instead of having cash offers. Wouldn't you agree on that?
Yeah, but I think there's also a decent amount, especially right now, coupled with the winter. There's a lot of uncertainty right now in the market, right? Not just the market, just in the economy in general, with everything that's happening in the country right now. So I think going into spring, I think it's really going to be kind of a tipping point. Are people going to get off the fence? Are people going to have more confidence? And are they're gonna want to buy and they're gonna want to sell, or is it still gonna be this uncertain time where no one really wants to do anything yet because who knows what's gonna happen, right?
Right.
So I think it's gonna, the next couple of months are gonna get really interesting.
Yeah, it is gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's in the messaging, right, from the people who are guiding these people through transactions, right, like real estate agents saying, hey, now is a pretty good time because of the uncertainty that your house could go down, as opposed to the message the past few years. Yeah, values are still up, things are good, rates are low, and now it's like, well, rates are low right now, but
They're
3 months ago it was
5%. Yeah, 4%.
yeah. So
we thought
who knows? And we thought they were going to continue to go up.
I
So
have 5% on my mortgage.
and
yeah.
undoubtedly it will go back to where it was at some point, whether it's now, 2 years, 5 years, it will go back up. So
I say
if you got to make a move, make a move.
I say the next 2 to 3 years we're up over 7%.
Bro, we've been saying rates are going to go up forever.
Who
They've
knows?
gone up a little bit, but they're still, 4.25.
I mean, we were talking about this last night. I think I have a pretty good idea of why and the path to get us there, but within 2 to 3 years, we're over 7%.
Well, I don't think 7%, but whatever. We have a lot of things have to happen. But anyways, what I will tell you is that spring's going to be busy. I expect it to be busy because rates are low. People can move. The price of money is cheap. The market's good. People have jobs. I just think it's going to be a really, really busy market in the spring, so prepare yourselves.
And ultimately, if you think to put your foot or your
In your
feet
mouth?
in the shoes of so my breath can stink. But to put myself in the consumer's shoes, right? You can't really lose. If you buy right now and rates go down, you can refi.
Exactly.
If you buy right now and rates go up, you won. So what's
100%.
the problem, right?
Either way, you bought
From a mortgage
the
perspective.
house that you wanted, right? So
Right.
you win, win,
don't
win.
don't buy because of any other reason
Right.
than you want to buy a house,
Or
unless you're an
unless
investor.
unless you're getting divorced and you have to or something.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
Or you're going to lose in that situation for the most part anyway.
But you still win in the end.
I think listing agents have to be very careful because a lot of people selling their houses think their houses were probably worth more because last year people had multiple offers and shit.
Yeah.
Everyone always thinks their house is
Yeah.
worth more.
All right, so we're gonna go into 3 questions with Brendan Austin, the man with two first names.
I don't trust your answers already.
You don't trust his answers?
Yeah, he hasn't even answered any questions yet.
I know.
All right, first question. Obviously, we ask everybody is what scares Brendan Austin?
What scares me? Like in the business or in life?
Whatever you want it to be, man. Everybody always says that.
Heights.
Heights.
Terrified of heights.
Terrified.
Absolutely. Won't even touch a roller coaster.
So when you're on a rooftop, does that bother you?
sometimes.
Oh, really?
But usually we're a couple beers deep, so I'm all good up there.
Nothing is more scary than, like, let's say you're at, like, what's the Water World or whatever next to Cedar Point.
Oh,
Right? What do
yeah.
they call it? Splash Village or whatever.
Whatever it is.
You're
I
up.
think that's in Frankenmuth.
Yeah,
There's
well,
a lot of
not
them.
that one, but you're up all the way up at the top of the stairs on the slide.
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
looking
yeah.
over, and one of your buddies pushes you a little bit, like.
And, it's,
Yeah.
and like the stairs are wet and slippery.
And I'm
from
not
the-
really afraid
yeah.
of heights, right? As long as I'm secured. But
Yeah.
I will tell you that'd be
That-
a horrible
that
way to,
spooks
like
me.
if you fell off like a 100-story building, you have a long time to think about
Yeah.
dying. That's
You
the
got a
scary.
long
That's
time
a
to
that's a
just know
scary.
they
you're
say
thought.
most people just pass out before from the fear, but
From-
who knows? I mean,
from the blood pressure.
how would they know? What do they
Right.
follow him down?
Let's ask him.
Oh, he was unconscious when he hit the
Nah,
ground.
dude, he's just like yeah,
And
right.
it's pretty tough.
That's good. So
Not really.
no, not really.
tough.
If you could be one animal in the animal
Animal.
kingdom, what would you be?
A lion, probably.
A
Why?
lion.
Yeah.
That's
We
pretty
gotta go
good.
why, too.
I mean,
Nothing eats lions, as far as I'm concerned. They're like top of the food chain, right?
yeah, it's pretty
So,
good. I mean, we have a
I
lion
mean,
in our logo
They're
too. It's pretty
dominating
good.
the safari, as far as I'm concerned.
The safari.
The African safari, where they live.
They kind of are, man. I would
I mean, it's a
say
good
that a
answer.
lion's pretty badass.
Yeah, it's a good
scary
answer.
stuff though.
It's a good answer.
And
But
we
I
got
mean,
a lion on our sweatshirt, so like it's only right, right?
I mean, it's our
There you
logo.
go.
Yeah, we do. I mean, it is. It's good. I
Yeah.
like that.
Can we talk about a random fact I know about lions? Do we have time?
So we got a minute.
Lions are crazy because if a male lion wants to hook up with a female lion, it'll go and kill that female lion's cubs and eat them.
So
Just to
he
reproduce.
So he can.
Because he wants his own.
That's crazy.
That is. I didn't know
Anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
Random
Things
fact.
you know.
Yeah. If you could change one thing about your life right now, what would it be?
Oh,
You can't say
man.
knowing us.
Besides that,
What would you change? Better or worse?
I'd probably get a different car
Yeah.
because the snow, I didn't realize my life's
So-
constantly in danger.
So he drives, just so everybody knows, a Mustang.
Yeah.
He pulls up into the
Rear wheel drive.
He
Yeah,
it's
almost
crazy.
crashed it this morning.
He pulls into the actual parking lot, right into this. All you hear is right into the snowbank.
Paul looks at me and goes, he just ran into that wall, dude.
All right, man. Hey, listen, Brendan, tell the audience how they can get a hold of you, man, because you are doing some good stuff, and you know, I want people to be able to reach you.
Yeah, absolutely. My phone number is 248-872-0877. Always available Monday through Sunday, weekends even. Email is brendan@lendomega.com. Pretty simple. Reach out to me at any
but
time.
Brendan is with two E's, so everybody understands.
2 E's, yeah. Forgot to mention that.
it's
You have a hard
Separated
time
though,
with that one.
not BRE.
I mean, it doesn't. It's a weird way to spell it. So,
It
what
is,
was
it
your
is.
number again? Tell everybody.
248-872-0877.
Guys, he does a really good job. We're really proud to have you on the team. You are doing better than Kyle, so Kyle needs to know that.
Man.
Kyle, if you're listening, you
Comes
got,
the
you know,
bus.
we'll invite you on when you close some loans. Thank you everybody for listening. Jessica, thank you for coming in and doing the show with us.
My pleasure.
Salvador, thanks for making fun of my breath. Brad, thank you for being on the show and wearing a hoodie, getting a haircut.
Hey.
Brendan is literally the best put together guy on the
He's
show.
a fucking model.
He's a fucking model? Or is,
Oh, I don't know. Are you?
All the above.
all right, everybody. Thanks for listening. Have a wonderful day. We'll talk to you later.
Peace.
You've been listening to Inside Real Estate, the nation's